How do we remove the anxiety of an interview? Now, I'm diagnosed with anxiety. I was diagnosed, don't know how long ago, but in my career, I've worked in sales jobs where product value, sales value has been up to £1 million per project. That I work with ventilation, putting ventilation systems into schools and commercial buildings as a specification manager. Now, I could walk into any company, any construction company, any consultant, any architect. I could talk about product and I was cool as a cucumber. I had no anxiety, no sweaty hands in a handshake, nothing, absolutely zero anxiety. How did I manage that? That was because I was able to look at the situation, I was able to look at the sale, and it's not exactly not give a damn, but it was more not being affected greatly, controlling my reaction to the outcome. So if I made a sale and I made a high value sale, I would have a reaction. If I had a low value sale, the reaction would be the same. And if I lost a sale, low value, high value, my reaction would be exactly the same. It wouldn't change. It didn't change the input, it didn't change the amount of work, it didn't change the quality of work, it didn't change the anything in respect to the input that I put to making that sale. It was really a question that once I'd given everything, there's very little I could do outside of my control. That perhaps the client had different reasons, but as long as I'd done the work that I was supposed to do and I'd given the quality that I was supposed to have given, then everything else was beyond my control. Now, this is from Piero of Ellis, this is ataraxia, this is an area where Piero was chosen and used by Alexander the Great because to help him meditate when he was going into battle, because the attitude of Piero was seen as nothing really fazed him. Nothing really created a problem for him, and it's exactly the same in work approaching the interview, that yes, it is the most important thing for you at that given time, but don't let it stress you out. Don't let it become so important that you become anxious, that you can approach it in a particular way. And how do you approach it, and what do you have to do to make sure that you have that level of control? And this is all about the preparation. I knew my product inside out. I knew a lot of the competitors' products inside out. I knew the legislation and the rules governing BB 101 inside out. I could talk with such authority about the product that people had to listen. They had no choice, but they had to listen. If they made a decision that was not in my favour, I guess in a way that I looked at it, that their decision was illogical and there's nothing I could do about it. But I very simply did everything I could do to make sure they had 100% of me in that sales call and that sales process. And that's exactly what we're going to look at with the interview process, that we're going to dig deep into your background, your CV, your experiences, your history, your personality, your attributes, your strengths, your weaknesses. We're going to find them and we're going to build that story for you, which means that you can walk into any interview, anywhere, at any time, and you're fully prepared. Having that knowledge, having that confidence is going to translate into body language. You're going to be able to sit in front of the camera, you're going to be able to look directly at the interviewer in the eyes, you're going to be sitting in that interview room full of confidence. That is the objective. Once you have done that, once you have given 100%, it really is out of your control. There's very little else you can do. And the way that you will react to that is that if you get the job, brilliant. You then can react how you want. You can have the party, you can open a bottle of champagne, doesn't really matter. If you don't get it, you just reflect a little bit and move on. It's not that big it's not that big a deal, that you can build mentally that you're not going to be deflated, that there are going to be failures are part of life. But then you can build that into your interview strategy, that you're then looking at the failures. How do you react to the failures? This becomes part of the next interview that you're looking for, that you're looking forward to, that you can then say it's part of your weaknesses. I don't know, that you failed an interview, you then learn from that process, turn it into a positive. It shows that you're being proactive through the interview process, that all these things are building up in your profile, and you will improve your confidence, and this improved confidence is going to result in you getting the job of your dreams. So if you want to know more, if you want to get in contact, there's contact details below. Give me a shout, sign up, let's get started. There is a money back guarantee. Let's move forward. Let's start building that confidence that you have, and everyone has it. Even someone like me who's been diagnosed with anxiety can work around that anxiety, and one of the things is recognizing that you have, and you can build on it. It's simply a question of practice. So get in contact, let's get together, let's start building you up, let's get that job of your dreams.